bonds of peace. And we talked about, like lasso each other, rope each other up with peace. So it's a powerful, powerful metaphor. Be bound together by peace. Seek peace and pursue it. Pursue it. Don't just passively, pursue it. Feast on peace. Fast from resentment and feast on contentment. I have a person in my life who was really had a profound influence on me, and he broke down the word resentment for me, and he taught me that the word resentment is actually two Latin words. The root word is from the Latin word sentire, which is the senses, sensation. It means to sense or to feel. And of course the prefix re means again. So a resentment is just anything that you feel again. And the point of him bringing that to my attention was that a resentment is something where we're feeling in the present the pain of something that we experienced in the past, or the anger, or and so if we take a break from that, if we stop that cycle, and that's if you get into recovery, that's a lot of what recovery is about. In the big book of AA, it talks about resentment is the number one offender. Just sitting around and thinking about all the bad stuff that people have done to me, it kills us. And the program teaches that you've got to get rid of that stuff. It'll kill you. And a lot of what the drinking is about is trying to not feel that pain. Trying to anesthetize yourself against that pain. You don't have to be an alcoholic. There are a lot of different ways that we try and, numb out and not feel the pain of our life. And a lot of that is just simply, we get these loops in our head. Resentment, feeling again. The pain of that awful thing that somebody said or did to us, it isn't happening now. It happened a long time ago. And the only reason that we're feeling it in this moment is because we're rehearsing it in our head. And so the trick, the challenge, and the pathway to healing is to break that cycle. To stop rehearsing it in our head, which, and we had Dr. Luskin, here back in the fall, and that's a lot of his messages, is the importance of and also how to break that cycle. But fast from resentment, feast on contentment. And again, it's like, fill your mind with all the good stuff. Let yourself enjoy your life. Let yourself notice all the beauty and all the love and all the everything that's around. Fast from jealousy and feast on love. Think of all the times when maybe we're just sitting there and we're kind of wishing we had this thing this person over there had. And, we're jealous of, what they've got. Instead of just, being happy for that person or for those people and being content. Fast from pride. I know. Few people struggle with pride, but it gets in my way every once in a while. And the humility, and so often, I in my work and here as a pastor and in my life, I come into contact with people who are struggling with conflict in relationships, and a lot of times a phrase comes to mind, and the phrase is this: would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? We get stuck on and we want to be right. I want to be right. But the second that I get humble enough to let go of that need, then there's room for happiness. It starts to open up. So, fast from pride and feast on humility. And I think this is the last one. Focus on, fast from selfishness. It's all about me. And you get focused outwardly. Feast on service. What can I do to ease your pain? What can I do to ease the world's pain? What can I do to be a tool in God's hand? A pencil, as Mother Teresa said, writing a love letter in God's hands. What can I do to do that? Oh, one more. Fast from fear and feast on faith. And that's an important thing. Fear so often drives our life. So, those are just some thoughts, to share with you this morning about this journey that we're on, things that get in the way. And, it being spring, my mind has been filled this week with the miracle of what God can create, and how God brings new life out of apparent death and apparent destruction and so forth. And just walking down the road with Linda, I just saw, wow, look at that. There's like little flowers blooming, and then there were some more flowers blooming, and I just thought, yes, it's so important to focus on those things. Spring happens. I mean, we take it for granted. We take it for granted, don't we? Oh yeah, it's going to be spring. But I'm standing here and I submit for your consideration that is a miracle. That's happening. And it's an important reminder of what can happen, this healing that God can bring about in our lives when we participate, when we're willing to say, yes, yeah, I want to work with you, God. I want to let you work in my life. Then that healing can happen. And just a little further on that, I think a number of you know that our sister Kathy Kiewit, she went on such a journey this week. Wednesday, I got a call. She was transferred from Meadowood to the ER at Redbud Hospital, and seriously, I thought we're going to lose her. I mean, she just had the look of someone who was checking out. Her breathing, the way her face looked, everything, completely non-responsive, and it just really looked bad. And then they transferred her to Salina Hospital, and then they must have, worked some wonders there. And Linda calls me on Thursday morning, and she says, "You're not going to believe this, but I just stopped by to see it's Thursday morning. You're not going to believe this. I just stopped by, and Kathy was awake, and I talked to her a little bit. So I saddled up with Woody and Lynn and Kathy's friend Gladys from the Catholic Church. We went over there to visit her, and she was conversant and lucid, and it was just the most amazing thing. And then on Friday, I got a call from Linda in the afternoon. She said, just before leaving work, I stopped off at Kathy's room to say goodbye to her and how she wasn't in the room. So I talked to the nurse, and the nurse said, well, she's gone back to Meadowood. And so Friday evening, we stopped by and we tucked her in. She was in Meadowood, and she's lucid and a little bit confused, but it's just amazing. So everyth's moving, everything's changing, and God's on the job, working through all these things, and all this love is flowing, and differences are being made in people's lives. We talked about Rhea, Kathy, and there's so many other examples that I could give you. And what I see in this, I'm going to skip through. I was going to tell you a story, but I'm not going to tell you a story.
I want to tell a story I just heard from Kathy a minute ago.
Tell it.
A helicopter blew a sign onto her car. She got $3,000 out of it. She was praying for money. She was in the hospital. The blew the sign over to her car. Anyway. That's right.
Awesome. What I was going to share with you was the parable of the sower that Jesus told. I'm not going to share that now because time is marching on, but what that parable is about, I'm going to just simply encourage you when you go home,